Hey there, thanks for listening to the Dumb Dad Podcast. My name is Evan, and I'm a dumb dad.
Hey everybody, my name is Kevin, and I am a dumb dad as well.
Oh, cheers. Well, it's a good thing we're sitting together, pal. Here we are. You've gone away from me again. You just keep leaving town. Now,
Yeah.
granted, I left town as well last time, but you left town again. And I missed you.
we went on a trip again. I know, if you listen to the last podcast, we just got back from Texas. This was a much smaller trip. Went to visit my parents in Indio. It was one of those things, we wanted to go, but then we were like, we also want to go this other week. Like, it is like in a couple weeks from now. But it was like, if we just wait till that, something might come up. And then we just don't get to go for the whole summer.
Yeah.
So it's like, we know we can go now. We had been home, I don't know, 48 hours before we hit the road again. It was insane.
You know what they say? The early bird gets to take a dip in the Palm Springs pool.
And it was a hot one.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was in the hundreds and somethings.
They don't need to heat their pools over there.
No.
The
And
sun does it for you.
But you need sandals.
If you're going to walk anywhere outside near the pool, you need sandals. Unless you you know what? It's a good callus remover. If you're looking to just melt a couple layers off the bottom of your foot,
Really, it's cheap.
take 2.5 steps.
Yeah.
And then
See,
find your
couple
sandals.
Snake skin prints. Which just burns off there. Yeah, it was wild. We went little trip. And it was fun because, and this will be funny for the people who've been sticking with us for a while. My son, I can happily report, can swim. Again.
On again, off again. On again, off again.
Yeah.
Now, you went over there for 5 days, 6 days, whatever. First day, how did you do? Was it like, I remember last time I think you were telling us the first day, not great, and you were trying to force it a little bit, and then
It was the last day that
your daughter actually taught him, and you had nothing to do with it.
Yes, it was when I was like golfing or something with my dad last time.
Yeah.
I came back and they were like, look what he can do. And I was like, annoyed.
Absence
more
makes
than happy.
your son float.
I was like,
better.
no, I loosened it.
Yeah.
It's like a jar of pickles.
Yeah, it looks like a lot of that's based on fundamentals, if you ask me.
Yeah. I taught him all that. It's just now clicking. That's all that means. I'm not a proud man. Yeah. So the last time it was like the last day. And that was, whenever that was, this was kind of, I don't know if it was 5 days. I don't know what day it is. I don't know where we are. Very tired.
We're just trying to get to August, my man. We're just trying to get to August.
Just get to August. So my goal was like, I hope first day we get him swimming again and he remembers. So then for the next, I think we went for like 4 days, 3 days, he can just go for it.
Yeah.
And that is essentially what happened. We got there late, early evening Friday. So quick dip, didn't happen. And then the next quick dip, because it's weird. It's like you're like, it's 6 o'clock. We can't go in the pool. It's like, yeah, you can. Why can't you?
Yeah. It's 95.
It's summer. It's probably still 100.
Yeah.
It's
still triple digits at 6 o'clock.
Definitely still triple digits. And so the pool is perfect. And the sun is going to be out for 4 more hours anyway.
Yeah.
So it's like, all right, well, anyway, the next day he got it. And it was one of those things of just, it's weird. Here's something weird. It clicked with him the exact same way it clicked with my daughter, which was he was scared of the water. He was scared to put his face under, kind of forgot everything. Quick recap for like new listeners. He almost drowned in a pool at a friend's birthday party, which is coming up, his next birthday party, that friend. I was like,
really?
Let's go back and see what we learned. Anyway, so he almost drowned at his birthday party. Really scary. Put him in like an intensive swim class, and he'd learned to swim. And then school and life and everything, forgot it all. Too much time had gone by. So every time we brought him in a pool, when I went to Texas and the hotel, and then my nieces and nephews, they have a community pool. Nothing works. Like nothing could get his confidence, and it was just like insane.
After having gone through all that,
going through
like the safety. Now, let me ask you a quick question.
Yeah.
The safety class, remember you telling, this is like your neighbor does, like these safety trainings, like it's survival.
Yeah.
Survival in the water.
She teaches she does the infant, those horrifying TikToks. They go bloop, and then just watch the kid like slowly turn over.
Everybody wants to get their own Nirvana cover shot
Yeah,
of their baby.
it's
Just
insane. And
So my question to you is like, was he? You say he was learning to swim. Did he really learn how to swim, or did he learn how to like turn over and stuff, or could he like motor around in the pool? Do you know what I'm saying? Like, there's a difference I think between water comfort and like if you fall in a pool, how to save yourself. That's one thing. That's like the first thing you learn, and then like, but could he like swim from like kind of one side to the other, or was it?
he was when he was finished that class, he was pretty much at a point where it was like you could hold him and be like, all right, go to grandma, go to Nana,
and he could
let
swim
him
like
go
10
and he could
feet to her.
swim-
Or
yeah, something like
yeah.
that.
I asked that because like
probably
both
less
of our
than
kids
that.
are back now. We've signed up for the Y again.
Yeah.
After we were like, well, you had this good routine. Both of us did going to the Y before pandemic and everything.
We signed up for the Y today.
Oh, you did?
We just signed up.
Sweet. We'll see you there.
Yep.
It's been fantastic. We've been going for like a month now,
Yeah.
maybe a little longer than a month now, and signed our kids both up for swimming. And we're curious, like, where are they and water comfort level and stuff. And they were kind of, my daughter went right back to, as a 4-year-old, went right back to like water comfort and survival kind of stuff.
Yeah.
How they teach you.
Yeah.
Then they do kicking on the wall and stuff like that. But that's kind of what made me think of that is like where, you realize like how important that is. And probably, and again, to a testament to what you're saying, like kind of how quickly they can lose that a little bit if they're not in the water all the time. Kids are such creatures of habit that if they're not in the water all the time, it's going to be hard for them to remember it or have it go right back to that or whatever.
So before he could swim decently, and then again, like there's too much of a gap. But what was weird about this time that was exactly the same as my daughter is my daughter hadn't taken classes, but my daughter had all the tools. She had taken classes at the Y and stuff like that. And we were just like, I don't know. We can't get to this next step with her. She's just scared of the water. And with my daughter, we gave her goggles. And once she realized she could put her face in and nothing will happen, because if you don't drink it, then like a switch flipped. And she was like, literally went from scared to like cruising.
Yeah.
And my son, the second day there, we'd give him goggles before. It wasn't that we didn't think of that before. It was just like this time, like my mom was with him, and I think I was inside doing something, and she was again. I wasn't there. I'm just a bad water teacher. I just can't be there. But my mom was like, it was just the two of them. They really hit it off this trip. It was very cute. It was just the two of them were just thick as thieves the whole trip.
Yeah.
And this was the beginning, and I think this was like part of it. I mean, he's always liked her, but it was just one of those things. Anyway,
because your dad had to take off, right? Your dad was
he went to visit his brother in
yeah,
Montana. His
again,
brother
so like a swimming situation, and then your dad took off.
Yep.
So like it's learned behavior is what I'm gathering from this. Yeah.
Yeah. It's just, the dad's got to be out of the hair.
Out of the picture.
It's too much pressure. There's no nurture. And and then we came out, and then he was just like a fish, just
Got it.
head down, under, swimming,
It's fantastic.
head popping up while still swimming, breathing, going back under, and you're just like, I knew it.
It's like when you're a kid and you put the goggles on, and it's like, whoa, there's like a different world, man. When you can see underwater, and then and to me, it's a part of that is you're afraid to go underwater when you're a kid.
Yeah.
Until you realize, like, oh, there's just people's butts under here.
Right.
However you think of it.
That's not where I go, but that's fun. That's what you look at when you're under the water.
That's the first thing I thought of, and then regretted it. But you know what I mean? You put the goggles on, it's like, it's just the rest of everybody. It's just swimming. Okay.
Yeah.
And then I kind of want to keep looking underwater. When you're a kid, you just want to keep looking under there, and then it's teaching you like it's okay.
You
to
say
put
when
your
you're
face
a
in the water.
kid, that's what I did this entire trip. It was like my daughter, my son, and I, three of us wearing goggles underwater for an inappropriate amount of time.
But it's the kid thinks, I want to keep looking underwater. This is cool that I can look underwater.
Yeah.
And they're not even realizing they're rehearsing putting their face in the water. Whereas if they didn't have
Right.
goggles, they're like, oh, I don't want to do that. It makes me uncomfortable.
Right. It's
So,
just like,
that's great.
Close your eyes and I can't breathe. This sounds like a nightmare.
Yeah,
And they're not
sounds like-
wrong
yeah.
about that fear.
Yeah.
What I will say that's funny is, so I'm with my daughter this morning, one last swim before we go home, and she starts doing like rolls under the water, just like forward rolls.
Yeah.
And she's like, I can do 2. And I was like, oh yeah. And I did like 7 without stopping.
Show off.
And then my stomach hurt for like the rest of the day. I didn't feel good for the rest of the day. I felt terrible. I'm just old now. I can't do things, and I want to think I can. I feel like the
stopped
pool.
at 6. You've been great.
I feel like the pool is like where I'm still, like, not cocky, because it's not like I was ever like a athletic swimmer, but it's like I can do all of the things I could do before.
Wait, when you're weightless. When
you're
you feel
weightless,
weightless, yeah.
I'm
And you
like,
don't
yeah.
feel gravity just pulling down on your terrible body. I'm with you, buddy.
I still put on like the goggles, and nobody asks me to, and I just see if I can go from one end of the pool and back, like underwater. In one breath.
Yeah.
I still do it like I'm 12.
It sounds to me like you're trying to just, live your life to its fullest.
And
And
I sure
I don't
did.
disagree with that.
Should I have been spending that time teaching my son to swim? Maybe. Maybe.
You're leading by example. That's what
Yeah.
I'm getting from this.
I go, hey, son, watch the trick. And I just go
and
under.
then you disappear. It's like, my father will be back soon. What's funny about all this is like, we're at the Y today for like an open swim, and I'm just gonna get to my dumb dad moment, because it's all just kind of leading there. This is just
Okay.
like a wild plan I have to get to my dumb dad moment. Again, so we've been doing the Y for like a month and a half. We've been taking a lot of their classes. It's been super fun doing all the stuff that they offer, and we kept thinking like, and the kids are doing swim, and they both progressed into the next level. They're doing well. They're comfortable in the water, and it's interesting though that my son went from level 2. The lifeguard was like, he is doing some of this stuff pretty easily. Some of the stuff he needs work on, but if he wants to go to level 3, I would approve it. It would just be whether or not he kind of wants to challenge himself. At the end of 3, you like swim basically like the length of the pool without any assistance, and he can swim a little bit without any assistance now.
Yeah.
So it would be a big leap, and he said even still, it might take him a couple times, but if he's ready for it, I think that would be a good challenge for him. It's like, great. So we've been doing that. He's been enjoying it, everything. So a little bit of a segue, just in terms of being in the water a lot and having that fear as a kid. He like loves it so much. Even at camp, we've been going to the rec center this week. We can touch that in a little bit, but they've been going to camp this week, and every day as part of camp, he gets to go in the pool and swim.
Oh, sweet.
But when he's having a day of swim, whether it's swim at the Y or swim at camp at night, he has this overwhelming, like anxiety feeling of being afraid of drowning in the water or something bad happening in the water.
He doesn't have it then. He has it after.
He has it at night.
Okay.
Because it's like it's been a part of his day was swimming. And anyway, it's been this thing. It's very interesting to see like a kid that he's safe. There's lifeguards. We're at swim practice. You're at the rec center. There's lifeguards everywhere. He comes home and says, I had fun. We had so much fun in the water. I did a front flip underwater. I learned how to do it today. Everything about it is fun. And then when he gets home at night, he gets like worried and scared about it. And so it's been kind of this thing we've been working with him recently. But anyway, when yesterday he said, I don't think I'm going to go in the water today, because at camp, if I go, then I'll be worried. I'll think about it at night, and I'll have a hard time sleeping. And both my wife and I were like, well, I totally think that's a valid concern. I understand that you'd be worried about not feeling,
Sure.
However, I think the more you
You're
go,
a child, and you're only a kid once.
yeah, the more you think of, and then the more you do it, the more you'll realize it was just a day of fun in the water, and nothing bad happened because you were safe, you were being looked after. And so we kind of encouraged him to go back again. And then, so he did today at camp. And then we went to the Y tonight. My wife wanted to take like a cardio dance class. And so, man, this is sort of like a 2-parter dumb dad moment. One was that my wife and I got all excited about Tuesdays at
cardio dance.
Tuesdays at the Y, because it was like, we've been looking for a way to get them into the pool to have fun, as opposed to just going to Saturday swim class and like it's technique and learning. So like also show that we can just go play. So Tuesdays, there's this dance class she wants to take. Great. That aligns with open swim 4 to 8. The class is at 6. Like this works out really nicely.
Yeah.
My son even wanted to take a cartoon class there, like an art class. So he'll go. Perfect. We'll get there at 5. He'll take his art class for half an hour. I will take both the kids. We'll go in the water and play for an hour, while at 6, Mommy goes to her class, 6 until 6:30. It's called Tuesdays End with Y. That's what we called it. That's how far we got, naming our Tuesdays.
Tuesdays end with Y.
Yeah, well, and with the Y, because, we go to the Y. Anyways, the whole thing. We got pretty excited
But
about
it's
it.
Tuesdays.
Tuesday ends in Y. I can't remember. We workshopped
Okay.
it. It doesn't matter. It all fell apart because today we got there and they were like, yeah, it is technically open swim, but at 5:30 they clean the pool. Or no, at 5:45 they clean the pool, so you could get in at 5:30 when you really originated the idea. But then you'd have to get out for 15 minutes while they clean it for a safety check, and then you could go back in at 6. And then it was like, oh, this is not convenient anymore.
Tuesday ends with
What did Wednesday end
Why
with?
me?
That's what it felt like. It was like, man, we got so excited about all this. Anyway, so we still waited around until 6 tonight because we already told the kids we're going to go swimming. So you can't tell them that and
They
then
haven't-
not go swimming
They have an open swim scheduled and then a cleaning scheduled in the
in the
open
middle
swim?
of it. Yeah.
That seems insane.
Like some sort of like, let's go ice skating. Hold on, let's all stop and watch the Zamboni. But the Zamboni's fun to watch.
The Y is great. We love it. We signed up to the one near us, and it's already like you get what you get, and that's what's and the Y is great. We've done it for
That's
years
part of why I like it.
because their hours are posted on multiple sites as opens at 5:30.
Mm-hmm.
And then on the door, there's a piece of paper that's like, listen, I know what we said. And we forgot the password
It's 7.
to change the website. It's 7.
I know. I kind of like that too. Like
You're
it's
just
sort
like-
of like
Hey, no problem, man.
whatever. Sort of the same thing with
I just
Parks
appreciate you having us.
Sort of the same with Parks and Rec Center. We'll get that in a second. Anyway, so we go there today, we swim, and so it all felt like, stupid, man. We had all this planned, and we didn't really think about it. Well, we didn't know that was part of the schedule, but it was like we got so in love with the idea that like the rest of our summer will be like this family, like, trip to the Y for a couple hours where we swim and have fun and everything. And it kind of got like, the schedule got all weird, and it may not work. I still swam with the kids. But as I'm in the locker room with the kids, like, okay, hold the towels. I'm going to put our stuff in the locker. I'm going to lock it. Like, get all your stuff. Okay, you got your goggles? Great. Hold the towels. Okay, let's go out to the pool. Hold on. I forgot. I have my phone. I'm sorry. I got to go put the phone in the locker. I go put the phone in the locker. One kid already went to the bathroom, but now that we put the phone in the locker, the little one's like, actually, I think I have to go to the bathroom too. And it's like, we're never getting in the pool. And then 15 minutes later, we get to the pool. And we just get there. I stack all the towels down. I'm like, all right, let's go have some fun. We all jump in the water. And then about 25 seconds later, I realize I've jumped into the water with my wallet and my car key in my pocket.
Oh.
Electronic car key. Proximity sensor car key.
Yeah.
That I can only imagine are, I think, historically pretty cheap to replace. And so I just like ripped it out of my pocket and didn't let it ruin the moment or anything. But I realized that was...
I mean, that's
not a very good move.
You've steeped it for quite a while.
Not a very good move. And so I just like slammed it in between two towels and like didn't think of it. So that's why I showed up today with my car keys and a little bag of rice.
Your car keys were in a bag of rice when you showed up. So it still works?
It still works. It worked when we went outside. It worked when I came here. We'll see in the next couple days as moisture maybe finds its way into the little cracks of that thing. That's kind of where the worry is and where the rice comes into play. So
Sure.
We're just going to kind of keep tabs on that. But
well, good luck with that.
That was the dumb dad moment of the week and the day, actually.
Before I get to my dumb dad moment, to pivot off of you with getting keys soaked in water. So we went to Texas for a full week, came back for a few days, and then visited my parents for, 4 or 5 days.
Tell us, Kevin, where are you going next?
So we came home, and I'm doing some stuff around the house. Like I was making we have a cold brew maker. You gotta like make everything 24 hours in advance, whatever. So I'm making coffee and I'm cleaning everything, and I have the water running, and it's just not getting hot. And I'm like, our sink sometimes takes a really long time, and I was just like, whatever.
But it's been 5 minutes.
So then I take a shower because I'm like, well, I gotta take a shower before I do the podcast tonight. Been in a pool,
and I appreciate that, and so do the listeners.
Welcome.
The listeners do as well. Because they are thinking of me.
The resolution's so high you can smell it.
They're thinking of me.
So I take a shower, and I only have the hot water turned on, and I'm not getting any hot water. So I'm like...
So you're rushing through it, first of all.
Well, I got used to it, and then I just went for it. I was like, you got to shower, so just get to it.
Do you do cool showers ever?
I did when my anxiety was really bad. I would turn I'd shower in a normal hot shower, and then I would turn it off for a minute I would count out a minute of it like at ice cold.
Ice cold. That's pretty good. My wife does this thing. I don't know if your wife does this. Like back from a workout, when your body's like still blotchy because you're so sweaty, she'll take a full hot shower.
Yeah, I think.
Impossible. I'd have to go to the hospital. I go like.
Oh no, I'm the same. I don't like cold showers.
How can you do that when you're hot already?
I mean, I think I wait until I've cooled down some before I take the shower. Otherwise,
I'm telling you, she could do it.
Here's the thing: if I take a shower when I've just worked out and I'm hot, and then I get in a hot shower, then I get out, I won't stop sweating until the following morning.
That's what I'm saying.
Right. So that I don't
You
do
gotta
that.
get that core temperature down.
I get the core temperature down and then take a shower.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyway, I went out to be like, I gotta light the pilot. I've done it once before.
Yeah,
water heater. I was like, hey, the pilot went out. Makes sense. We've been out of town. That happens. And I went outside and there was just like a ring of water around the water heater, and I was like, uh-oh.
Well, that's not usually there, and hasn't been raining.
So it's funny because, like I said, my dad is in Montana right now. He's visiting his brothers, and he was there the first night we got there. I drove him to the airport the next morning, and so we got there Friday night, and I was like, just came up casually in conversation was water heaters, and my dad was like, because he was talking about if his as ever goes, he's been like, because my dad is an engineer and he's always tinkering and like, what's the best thing you can get for this? And just living in California, he's in the desert. He's always just like, what's the best thing money wise? Efficiency,
yeah, all that.
So it was just funny because we talked, then drove him to the airport, get home, ring of water, watch a couple of YouTube videos, and they're like, it could be this, and I'm looking and I'm like, I'm pretty sure it's in pretty bad shape. So
yeah, nothing here that says ring of water, don't worry about it.
Yeah. It was funny.
You'll be fine.
It was funny because it was like, it's kind of like those stupid videos on like TikTok or Instagram that are like two-parters and don't need to be. It was like, these are like YouTube videos that were just like, if you see a ring of water around your water heater, don't panic. There's a chance it's just something loose. So first, they went through all of the what it definitely isn't going to be. Mm-hmm. And like the last thing
so
they
you
say
watch like this 21-minute video of like, great, I have learned nothing about my situation.
I didn't even finish it before I was just like, I'm pretty sure it's bad. So then I called my dad and I was like, let's talk again about your research. And he was like, what's going on? And I was like, why water heater's gone. And then he, out of luck, happened to have just had dinner with one of his brother's good friends who is a plumber. And there was like, they were still there. Yeah. And my dad was just like, oh, my son's water heater went. And he was like, well, send me some pictures. Like, my dad, who's an engineer, has like researched it, is with a plumber who knows like for sure. And he looks at the photos. He's like, oh, that thing is toast.
Oh. Saved you $50.
Yeah.
A guy coming out to go, that thing's toast.
Yeah. $50.
With both hands on his hips.
Yep.
And a pencil in his ear.
And
that thing's toast.
No, they do that thing where they're like, well, I can't ask for the $50 until I go, that's toast. Well, let me see. And he just reaches behind it, and all I know he's doing is just like patting the back of it. They're pretending they're checking something. Nope, it's not that. It's toast. Sorry, man.
He reaches around back to flip himself off to realize, like, I've come out to another house. You have to just tell this guy. This thing's done, and you have to spend a lot more money.
You got to spend some money. So we got to get a water heater. Let me get to my dumb dad moment. I'll keep you guys updated on the... I mean, we'll figure it out tomorrow.
Yeah.
It's one of those things in your house that when it happens, it's like, cool, you have to figure this out immediately.
Yeah. Let me call the landlord.
Oh, no.
Oh, no, that's me.
Why are you calling my phone?
Yeah.
Said my wife.
Why? Can I use your phone to call me?
Yeah. I text myself, you stupid idiot, dumb jerk. You deserve everything that happens to you. So my dumb dad moment is brought to you by siblings.
Oh.
Sibling rivalry.
Oh, okay.
Since Cain and Abel.
Yes. Cheers.
So my children, I have two kids. I have a 7-year-old girl and a 4-year-old boy. And my 4-year-old, they both get along great. They have a very good relationship. In fact, it reminds me very much like me and my older brother Steven. Like exactly how our relationship was, which was like thick as thieves, play well together. You know, I see that the way my son looks up to my daughter, and just like I was like remembering that as a kid myself. I was like, oh man, I remember hanging out with my brother, and I was like, God, he's so cool. Can't believe we're hanging out. But like the second something goes wrong, you're kind of like, would anybody miss him if he disappeared? It's like what you start to think. It's just like the anger levels that switches so fast is
It's crazy.
astounding.
Yeah.
Best of friends, and then just full on fighting, not physically.
A lot of the times I'm assuming this, where maybe you're alluding to, is like the back of the, it's like in the back of the car. You're on a road trip. Not even a road trip. It's like a 6-minute drive to Target. And they've been playing for a half an hour inside, giggling all the way into the car, laughing on the way to the Target, and then one thing happens or is said, and all of a sudden it's like screaming. Like, what's happening back
Screaming.
there?
So this morning, you know, the kids wanted to watch a show, and I was like, yeah, that's fine, because we're about to get in the pool one last time. And so they were watching something on the iPad, getting along great. Couldn't have been prouder. Should have taken a photo.
Cuddling,
what a
sharing.
memory. Should have taken a photo so when they don't talk at all in their teenage years, I just go, what happened? Look at this.
Where's this?
Look at this.
Do you guys have any idea who this? Where's this relationship?
Oh my gosh! Used to share a blanket.
Can you just put down the knife for a second? And look at this photo.
Yeah. You left the room. Okay. Anyway, so this morning at one point they start fighting over the iPad, and I'm sitting at the breakfast table with my wife, and we're talking about the day and going over stuff, and I just look over and I was like, hey guys, can you knock it off? And I was like, guys, please don't pull on that. And now they're like pulling, tug of war of the iPad. There is a glass pitcher behind them, behind her. There is a full glass of water behind him, because they're right at like the corner of the counter.
Yeah.
And it was just like, this can go bad in so many ways.
You have it as like the Da Vinci Code, like how the Da Vinci Code movie was. Like you look and you see the glass picture and it like highlights in blue.
Yeah.
And then you look behind him and it highlights in blue. Like these are all the probabilities.
It's like Sherlock.
Something's going to go. Yeah,
Sherlock
it's
Holmes.
Sherlock. Yeah. 67% of this shattering.
Right elbow hits pitcher. Scared. Pushes forward. Knocks over glass. Glass hits blender. Wires.
And your wife's
ignite
like,
fire.
so can you go get the Target order? Well, yes.
She's like, what are you staring at? I'm just like staring at the floor. Meanwhile, the kids are already in the pool. They've been gone for 20 minutes. So they're not listening. And this is all happening very fast. Where I'm like, guys, stop pulling the thing. And then I invoke this, speaking of my dad, this like superpower that my father passed down to me. The dad voice. I couldn't, obviously I'm not going to do it on a microphone, but it like I can't.
Well, you don't want to scare the microphone, Kevin.
It's not something I can do like as an impression. It is a voice that comes out of you, and it only comes out of a flash of pure anger.
It comes from a place.
It comes from a dark place.
It comes from a very dark place.
And when my dad would do it, everything would stop, and it doesn't matter if you were right. It's over. Like everything.
Doesn't matter if he's even misunderstanding the situation.
Doesn't matter if he just walked in the door. It's like he's right and we're wrong, and we're gonna stop now. And it wasn't and it's not a voice he used a lot, because that's where it kept its power. You know, you use it too much, eventually everybody's like,
it's oversaturated.
You're hurting my ears enough with it already.
Yeah. Nah, he's full of shit, man. He's not gonna do anything.
You gotta really be ready to fly off the handle.
Yeah.
And I've done a lot of dumb dad things where I just like react poorly or whatever and know right away. Then you just go, oh, that wasn't great.
That didn't feel good.
So you just like pivot real fast. I kind of like leaned into it. Well, hear me out. Hear me out.
The way you set that up.
Yeah. I like leaned into this one in that like I didn't keep yelling. You can't. That's the thing of the power. It comes once and it's gone. And you don't.
It's more of like an attention getter.
And get attention. It did.
Yes, right.
The children stopped immediately. My wife like looked at me like, "What the fuck are you doing?"
Let me ask you a question. Was your mom in the room?
No, she's at work.
Right.
But she would have stopped too. Like, I mean, everyone in the room, everyone loses, even if you weren't involved. My wife lost. She wasn't doing anything.
The neighbors stopped mowing their lawn, actually.
The guy who's doing pest control,
Yeah.
was like spraying the backyard. I was like, I'm sorry.
I'm not. I don't need to be here right now.
I'm sorry. This is just water. I'm sorry. And well, I leaned into it because I was like, your brain is going, well, that was an overreaction.
Mm-hmm.
But I was like, guys, when I'm calling to you, you guys cannot ignore me. I was like, there's glass there. There's glass there. You guys are pushing and pulling. Since when do we do that? Let's not do that, okay? And they were like, okay, yeah. Like they, this is where I knew I was wrong, is not only did they stop, but they like approached the bench. Like the two little kids just like, which was nice because my kids aren't scared of me and I never do this.
Yeah.
So it's not like my children are not scared of me, and they weren't scared of me then. They were startled, which is why they like approached me like I was like a drill sergeant.
Yeah.
I didn't like any of what was happening.
Mm-hmm.
But I was like, I just had to be like, we don't do that, blah, blah, blah. And they're like, okay, I'm sorry. And I was like, yeah. And I'm sorry I scared you and yelled so loud. But I need you guys to listen to me. That was getting dangerous.
Yeah.
Okay? And they were like, yeah. And then my oldest, who's just the best, was just like, okay. And can you like never yell like that again? Because that scared everyone.
And you're like, I knew that was coming.
Yeah. Well,
And let me reiterate, it's your fault that I yelled like
Yeah.
that. So is that good? Should I lean in any further than that? Man,
it's crazy that my wife
foot is
has
so
never
far
heard
in.
me make that noise until you were born.
I think I swallowed my whole foot. My shoe came off in my throat. I got to pull my foot.
I look out the window and the pest control guy's just shaking his head. Stop talking.
I should spray.
You're doing such a bad job.
Such a bad job. I don't have kids, and I know this is such a bad job at this.
I don't have kids, and this is why. My dad was just like you. No, it was fine. It was fun. It was one of those things. It was just like, I knew I made a mistake, but it was like,
Yeah.
I'm not totally wrong though. They were fighting and ignoring me, and now I know. The parenting experts were like, you approach them, you get down on one knee, you say and instead of but,
But you hadn't had your coffee yet, and
also time.
That's a big one.
It was a timing thing. Like something was gonna break. I know one of them was gonna fall
and
backwards.
you chose rather than everything else. It was you. You were the one that broke.
But it's my dumb dad moment, and
Yeah.
you know what? Nothing broke except for their trust in me.
It's important you apologize to them. That's a big, powerful thing. We talk about apologize to your kids if you're wrong, because it shows them how to apologize. So I appreciate that. You dummy.
Yeah.
It's good. And you know what? I can say that because I've never once done that. Moving on, and we're not going to talk about this any further because I've never once done that. Approach the bench.
May I approach the bench?
Yeah. The summer moves on, man. We are just trying to get to August. We've talked about
your
this
kids
before.
your kids are in camp now.
My kids are in camp. Yeah, it's which has been nice. This is day 2 of camp.
Let me ask you this, because you texted me something that was so confusing and funny to me, because you dropped your kids off at camp at what time?
Well, the first day, according to the schedule, my daughter gets dropped off at 8:30, and then there's a half-hour lapse, and then my son gets dropped off at 9.
Gotcha. So it was one of those things where I was like, I wonder if he's just having the worst day. It was like Monday, I texted you. I needed you to look at something or do something, send me something. It didn't matter. I needed you to do something. And I was just like, hey, when you get around, can you do this thing?
Mm-hmm.
And your text back, and this was like 9:40.
Mm-hmm.
You were like, yeah, I'm deep in the first day of camp, so I'll let you know. And I was like, he doesn't have any fucking kids in the house. What is he talking about? Like the phrasing of that made me pause, because I was like, oh, he's busy because, well, no, He's in a childless home.
Didn't he drop them off? I know. Here's the funny thing. Like, all the way down to triple checking on the website.
Uh-huh.
Drop my son off at 8:30.
Uh-huh.
Same exact camp. Same Parks and Recreation Center.
Yeah.
Drop my son off at 8:30. Sign him in. Drop my daughter off at 9.
Uh-huh.
Sign her in.
Mm-hmm.
Go pick up my daughter at noon.
Yep.
And then my son at 4.
Yeah.
So, first day, they can't even find my son anywhere on these lists. They're not aware of like which exact camp he's in, but it's like, what's his last name? Looking it up. Do you have the receipt? Like, oh my God, we signed up for this like so long ago. You know, like can't find him on the list, whatever. So a little bit of confusion there. Drop my daughter off, not great. She's crying, just like the first few days of preschool was. She was upset that I was leaving. It's just that she's still not. When it's been a while, she doesn't love the idea that I'm like,
It's like the swimming.
See you later.
It's like the swimming.
Just like the swimming. I come pick up my daughter at noon the first day. They're all playing outside. They're playing Duck, Duck, Goose. I'm thinking like, oh, that's really cute, playing Duck, Duck, Goose. I literally walk up as she's like flying around the circle.
Uh-huh.
And I'm like, this is so cute. And then they play like a couple more rounds, and I'm thinking like, oh, this is all right, cool.
Uh-huh.
I got nowhere to be, but it's 12:05. They're still playing. I just happened to notice it.
Who's this teacher just
They all
running
sit,
out the
They all
clock?
sit down. They start playing Simon Says, and I'm like, okay, where are the other parents? I'm like, I'm the only guy standing there, like waiting for a kid.
Uh-huh.
Somebody comes up to me. She's like, "Are you here for?" I'm like, "Oh, I'm here for my girl there." And she's like, "Okay." She signs me out. And this is like the extra confusing part. This is so funny. I go, "It's 12 o'clock, right?" She goes, "It's 12:09." I was like, right. I don't really know.
Sorry, I knew that. I knew that part.
Yeah. I go, it's 12 o'clock, right? To like come get them?
To get them.
And she's like, I mean, I've been doing camp, and it was like 12:30, sometimes 1 o'clock.
Oh,
I'm kind of like, what is with the answer of the, you're not really sure. And so,
but for you, it's 12:09. What a day, huh? And she just walked away.
Yeah. So anyway, I get her, and I'm kind of like, okay. And she goes, I thought it was 1. And I go, well, maybe I'll go ask the office really quick to see.
Certainly need an answer.
Yeah, because I don't know what's happening here. And then she goes and asks somebody. She's like, oh yeah, it's 1 o'clock. It's 1 o'clock. And I was like, okay. Mm-hmm. So I go home and tell my wife, and I'm like, so it's 9 to 1 actually. And she's like, huh. So we go on the website, 9 to noon.
Yeah.
That's when camp is. 9 to noon. Her age group is 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. every day. It was like every day except for Friday. It was like, okay, that's weird because that's not what the lady told me. So I go back today, and I go to drop my son off, and I was like, because yesterday I dropped him off and I signed him in, and he was the only one standing there in the room in the morning. Mm-hmm. So now I'm like, what is going on? So I asked somebody today, I'm like, okay, so what are like the actual hours of camp? Because both days I've dropped him off and kind of no one's here. Do they all start at 9? And then she just gets signed in like immediately? And she's like, well, camp starts at like 10. I was like,
what is happening?
That's exactly what I'm thinking. Okay. But she was like, it's kind of like before and after school hours. You can drop both of them off at 8:30 or both of them off at 9 if you want to make it easier. Like the earliest I can drop her off is 9.
Yeah.
I could drop him off at 8 if I wanted, according to their hours. Of
right.
somebody that will actually be there in the gymnasium to watch the kids all play.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, so it'll be easier in the morning. I can go at 9, just drop both of them off at 9.
Great.
And I was like, and then when do I come get them? And so like it's sort of the same thing. Like, yeah, you can come get them at 12, or that you can play till 1. They're just gonna be playing. So like actual camp hours are like a specific block, but like before and afters are earlier than the time and after. It was so confusing. Like, when am I allowed to drop my kid off, and when am I allowed to come get my kid? It was like way different than what it was on the website. Sort of the same thing as the rec center, everything. You're just kind of like, you know what? I'm here for all this.
Happy to be.
But I do just kind of need to know an hour when it would be like okay for me to drop these kids off.
Definitely not a ballpark thing. Gonna need it.
Yeah.
I don't
And
need
what are you
those
going to say? Like,
looks.
you got to get somebody on the website updating this stuff every 5 minutes. And they're like, that website was changed 5 years ago. Like an outhouse sticker when it's like,
They're like, it's
this was cleaned on this date. And it's like, that's 3 years ago. And this is an outhouse.
It's a .net with an ad for Snood on it.
Yeah, exactly. So it's great. They both had fun both days. It's great to have the time, as you said, when it's now that I know the time.
Okay.
But they've done the thing. The same thing it's going to be when they go back to school. They come home and it's like they can barely stay awake. They're so exhausted,
Oh,
which is exactly what we need.
exactly what we need.
Exactly
That's
what we need.
why
But
they're
they're
there.
having fun, so it's gone well.
Sweet. Well, that's great.
Yeah.
Well, good luck figuring out your day when you're alone.
I think I know the answer tomorrow. We'll see how it changes once I get there and it's a third day of confusion, but
yeah.
here we are.
Here we are. Well, guys, if you're in the throes of camp or water heaters or anything, please tell us
water
your...
aerobic. It was a water aerobics episode in some ways.
It's almost a water aerobics behind my house right now. If you guys have any of that, you guys can tell us your dumb dad moments, dumb mom moments, dumb parent moments. You can email us, dumbdadpod@gmail.com, or you can DM us on Instagram, where we are at The Dumb Dads, which is our handle on Instagram, TikTok. Do I say Twitter anymore? Threads.
Threads.
And that's our handle on YouTube, where you can watch full episodes of this very podcast.
Mm-hmm.
I just wanted to thank at Verdu on SoundCloud for the music for this podcast, and my wonderful wife, Annie, for editing this podcast. Evan, do you have a joke?
I got a joke for you. Ready?
Uh-huh.
Why don't mummies go on summer vacation?
They're wrapped up in other things.
Oh, that's pretty good. I really like that answer. You're a sharp tack, Kevin. No, it's they're just a little bit too afraid to relax and unwind.
Okay.
It's the same. Yours is just like a precursor to the actual answer, but I still appreciate it.
Okay. Yeah, it works. Okay.
All right, that's enough. Bye. Bye.
Welcome to the world, little one. Welcome to life.
How do I stop this?